your two dads show. Ooh, JJ and Deacon, they're the ones in the know. Subscribe quick, the Squid Monster's on the way. Inspire with us, tomorrow's news today. Oh yeah.
It's Friday, and today we're going to be talking about migration and the border and migrants squatting in people's properties and just taking them over. It's going to be amazing. Welcome back, everybody. I'm JJW. Oh, this is what in the...
I don't know what that is.
That
Oh, it's a fried bologna
very
sandwich.
gross.
That is a fried bologna
very
sandwich.
gross.
That's Kentucky steak right there.
That's right. That's exactly right.
I know.
I'm JJ. That there is Dave, and on the far end is Deacon's breakfast. This is unusual. Deacon's broadcasting from his cell phone, so we're doing something a little weird today.
Yeah, let me tell you real quick. Let me tell you real quick about what's going on. The basketball team that we cover and have covered for a decade contains Mr. Kentucky Basketball 2024. They are in the Elite Eight in the state tournament. They play today. I go on the air at 11:45. We had a major power outage last night that caused even my backup systems to not come on. And I had to physically come down. It wasn't until I hit a physical button to turn it back on, the board back on, and the board's not supposed to ever reset. So I don't know still what happened, but it messed up the internet.
You could have a bunch of stuff messed up still, right?
Well, it changed my network. I've tracked everything down. This is what I've been doing all morning. I've tracked it all down to one computer's still messed up. I can't get the internet on that one computer. That's the main computer that runs the stream, that runs the ball game, that does everything. And it changed the network IP settings. Like it changed where the network. Yeah. So I have been trying to get that this morning, and in the process, I've screwed up a couple of other things. So I called the IT companies after hours. And the IT company guy called me and he was like, yeah, I'll get ready, blah, blah, blah. And I'll send this message in. And then he just called me back a second ago, just before we went on the air. And he said, hey, the owner of the company, Willie's coming by. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And he was like real surprised. He was like, you know, he said he would come by and do it. And I was like, all right. And what I didn't tell that kid on the phone was that the owner of the company and I have known each other for about 35 years. We've worked in radio for 30 years, and we are very, very, very good friends. So that's why he's coming by.
So you got a buddy to come help you out.
Yeah. Yeah. So when he comes up here in a bit, I'm going to have to dip out for a minute.
So you guys had a big storm come through last night. We had a big storm come through too. And
I don't think we had a storm at all.
Oh, no.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think we had a storm at all. That's why I don't know what happened.
It is a pretest for the solar event.
Ooh, let's not. You want to get into some conspiracy theories on that?
Turn a Chinese space laser onto us and burn stuff down.
You don't have a blue roof, do you?
It'll be HARP. HARP's gonna cause a major earthquake in the San Andreas Fault.
You need a blue roof to get through this? I don't have a blue roof. What do I do? You have a tarp work?
You're toast.
Like
Can you do a tarp? Oh, jeez. Okay. All right. Good morning, everybody. If you haven't already, please hit like and subscribe. This is rumble.com/JJW. We are your two dads. We just can't count very well. We meet here Monday through Friday, and we drink coffee, and we talk about the news, politics, culture, pop culture, whatever's happening in the world. There's some cool stuff happening. There's not like a lot of interesting news today, but there's some news. So we got some stuff to talk about. Oh, there is? There is?
Oh, there is. There's always news.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So
did you not see what happened just in your state?
Oh yeah, no, I got at least one, but you know, I had my head up to here doing code yesterday, so like I don't really know what's going on, but I know this. Check this out. Yesterday, a large migrant group just pushed through the National Guard in Texas, and they just pushed through. So we have the Biden Border Patrol can't or won't stop the border. Texas deploys concertina wire and floating orange balls and all kinds of stuff. Barricades. They put up barricades to prevent people from coming into the country illegally. I mean, we're talking fighting age men illegally. And then Texas deploys the National Guard. And you know what? I heard that the National Guard was very effective. Instead of thousands of people coming across a day, it had dropped down to like 4 or 5 in that Eagle Pass area. Like not that 4 or 5,000, 4 or 5. So
that could be because everybody's already passed.
Not everybody. I mean, yeah. Well, there was a surge here, and let's I love Restream. I love it. It's good. You can't have hotkeys or anything like that. A large migrant group pushed past the Texas military at El Paso border. A large group of migrants, I don't know if they'll say how many, pushed their way through the National Guard soldiers and razor wire in an attempt to enter the U.S. near El Paso on Thursday illegally. They appeared to be stopped by a permanent border barrier after assaulting several guardsmen. So, Texans, Americans, were attacked by who knows who these people are. I'm not saying, I mean, they could, these guys could be from Mexico, Venezuela, El Salvador, Guatemala, Africa, China. We don't know. So, bunch of not Americans pushed their way into America, attacking, assaulting, and perhaps injuring Americans in the process. At what point do we have the right to respond with force? That's my question. And should we? I mean, like, isn't this actually an invasion? You know, there's all the states that are declaring it an emergency and an invasion, but isn't this actually an invasion? What do you guys think?
That's a tough one, man, because, you know, you don't want to do harm to anybody. You don't want to fire on these people, but you know, I try to look at everything as the devil's advocate. I don't want to be a closed-minded person that only thinks of one way. I've never been that way. I always try to look at things from what my enemy would do, because if I can think of it, then he can think of it too, is the way I look at it.
Right.
And I try to look at things. Mom always taught me to look at things 4 or 5 steps ahead. Okay, look at every outcome 4 or 5 steps ahead and see what the potential outcomes of your choice could be. And if they don't, like what happened yesterday, the first thing I thought of was, oh my God, are they going to fire on these people? Are they going to fire? Now they've started running down the soldiers. At first they were scared of them. So take this away from, let's take this out of the human context and put this into a nature documentary. And you're watching 3 or 4 lions standing there and about 50 hyenas. And the hyenas are trying to get past the lions, but they're a little scared. And once 1 or 2 or 3 goes through, well, here comes all the rest. And that's going to give the hyenas a sense of, you know,
it's like a pack, like a herd
and it's
mentality.
going to tell them, look what we can do. You know, and that's what's scary on this, is that those soldiers don't want to fire. You know, they don't want to fire. They've probably been ordered not to fire. And now that they know that they won't fire on them, they will start going. And then you're going to have 1 or 2 that's going to actually try to assault or something, one of these soldiers. And then that's when something is going to get fired. And then that is where it all escalates from.
That freaked me out.
So here is the actual video. And these guys are pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. And look, oh, it got through, run. It broke through, run. And
then all the rest realize that they're not going to shoot.
Wow. Thank goodness Joe Biden put a physical barrier up there.
What
right?
happens?
Otherwise, they would have
I
got.
saw one comment where someone said, "What happens if they fire off a couple of shots into the air?" You know, what happens in that
You mean?
situation? Let's just say that stuff started happening and somebody's like, "Cow," in the air real quick.
You don't know
You know,
if
the
anybody
National
has
Guard are
any
not the only
weapons.
guys there with
Right,
rifles.
right.
Do what now?
You don't know who else has weapons.
That's a very good point. Very good point.
It's not zero, dude. The
Yeah. Okay. That's
cartel
yes.
guys are
Okay.
cartel guys are in that crowd
Yeah.
too, and they actually have
And
weapons.
Yeah.
that's
Okay.
part of it too. You
Yeah,
don't
I
know
see.
who is who in this crowd. I mean, there might be
That
some
could.
legitimate individuals that need to come across.
Yeah, and
There
there
might
could,
not
and
be.
that could be the catalyst for somebody doing something else. I see that now. Okay.
Are
Yeah.
you familiar with
I mean, yeah.
the Marcus Luttrell story? I just
No.
recently,
I know his name.
I just recently came across this story a couple weeks ago. So Navy SEAL, their team comes in, they land on this mountain, and this little kid sees them, and Marcus Luttrell decides not to shoot the kid because that's just a
Right.
bad look, right? The kid runs back and tells the Taliban where the Navy SEALs
He's a
are.
spotter.
Yeah,
The kid was a spotter.
And so the
Yeah.
Taliban comes back and wipes everybody out except for Luttrell. Luttrell, to save his life, jumps off the mountain, breaks his back and like several of his bones, and has to crawl to freedom like 5-10 miles away, something
Oh,
ridiculous like
jeez.
that. And the story of that, just trying to get the picture of who the bad guy is, who the bad guy isn't, man, I feel sorry for our National Guard that's there, or anybody that's working those front lines, because there are
Yeah.
bad people coming
Yeah.
through, but there's also
Yeah.
good people that come through as well,
Yeah.
and they just don't know any better.
And okay, so like right now, I don't think that Texas National Guard has authorized to use lethal force, but I don't know. I don't think they're allowed to though.
So that's
And
that's
even if
a
they were
whole
allowed
nother
to,
freaking can of worms because
that's the
would it
only
be
thing that's going to turn
Texas?
this off. Like, oh, if we go up there, we get shot. That's what's going to stop it. But we don't want to do that, and they know we don't want to do that.
Yeah, because that opens up a lot of crap for the other side to be able to use as media talking points, major
Propaganda.
media talking points. We display on this show all the time how they freaking, like the whole bloodbath thing. Did you see?
Right.
I don't know if I'll be able to share it here. Did you see where Google has? I'm going to upload this. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I got your. You posted something in the chat. Is it that Google one?
Your face.
Yeah.
Paused. I can hear you though.
Let me see if I have the Google one you mentioned. Yeah. The mind virus one?
No. Hang on. I'm going to post it for you.
Oh no, not that one. Okay. All right. If you post it in chat, I'll bring it up.
Morning, do good. I saw you.
It was basically Google last week. The definition of bloodbath has been changed.
Oh yeah.
If you
End Wokeness posted that on Twitter.
Yeah. Okay.
I saw that.
So the definition of
Pull that up.
bloodbath on Google has been changed. If you type in bloodbath definition last week, it would have said one thing, and now when you type it in, it says another thing, and it's more. It as someone that writes for a living to make people think stuff. I've got 30 seconds to convey my message, so I have to pick the right words. They picked the right words to make you think of the Trump thing without them actually saying it. Like we talked about the other day, that was part of my job for a long time, and that's what they do. If they don't say it, but they can make you think of it without them saying it, then that's mission accomplished.
Here's the tweet post or whatever from End Wokeness. If you guys are on X platform, I think we have to start calling it Twitter and start calling it X platform, because X don't make sense, but X platform makes sense. Here on Sunday, March 17th, a bloodbath was a ruthless slaughter of a great number of people, a massacre, informal, a period of disastrous loss or reversal, a few mutual funds performed well in the general bloodbath of the stock market. That was the search result Google on Sunday. And then over the weekend we had Donald Trump use the word bloodbath, which was talked about it all week, all Monday and Tuesday for sure. That was obviously a media hoax that they're trying to misconstrue.
Yeah, real
as
quick for
political
those
violence.
that don't remember, Donald Trump used the word bloodbath talking about the auto industry, and he was basically using that word that the same CEO
Right.
of the Chinese auto industry had used. Donald Trump was basically
Right.
parroting the exact same thing. It's like he read that article about this CEO and what the CEO said, and he said the same thing.
So Google changed their search results so that when you search for the word, instead of getting a definition with multiple meanings, that is political violence or economic violence or, whatever, instead, now the definition comes from the Oxford Dictionary, which says an event or situation in which many people are killed in a violent manner. So it no longer carries the weight of the colloquial use of the term, which is, that term is used metaphorically all over the place to describe basically you losing. It's equivalent to like a landslide.
Oh, dude, this freaking football team today, man, they are like this basketball team today that we're playing. Our team versus this other team in the Elite Eight of the state tournament. The last time we played them, we beat them by 50 points. Today's going to be a bloodbath.
Exactly. Right.
My dude's here. I'm going to dip out.
All right, dude.
See you in a minute.
All right, it'll be me and Dave. Dave, we're gonna go normal vision.
Ooh.
We're gonna do this her. We got context and comics. Okay. Let's see. There was something related to this that I wanted to mention. We'll have to move on. Maybe we'll circle back. So did you see this? Yeah, still on migrants. Apparently there is we have a problem with Venezuelan migrants in particular. They come up here and kill people.
I've been to Venezuela.
And Venezuela won't take them back. And Venezuela is one of the countries emptying out their prisons and, sending them up to our border. And then when we try to deport them, Venezuela's like, nah, we are not taking those guys back. So Venezuelans have social media.
Could you cancel,
Yeah.
if you're a country, can you cancel someone's citizenship?
I don't know.
Like
I don't know.
If somebody
Well,
leaves America, can we just say, yep, you're no longer American? Your citizenship is canceled.
Well, who has
You
the
have no
right to do that? Does the government have
I
the
don't
right
know.
to dispense with the citizenship of its citizens? I'm not sure.
It depends on the country, probably, but I wonder if because that would be a pretty sick ploy if Venezuela were to do that.
I mean,
Here's a bunch
what
of
do you do
citizens. Nope, they're no longer citizens.
No, what do you do with peopleless, like countryless people? Like, what do you do with them?
Yeah.
Are we morally? Are we then, even if they're criminals, but they've been I don't know, abdicated by their governments and
That was
stripped of citizenship? Are we morally obligated to take in countryless people as Americans? That's strange.
I would think we are, at least according to what I see in our Constitution and stuff. If they have no country, if they have no country,
I mean, if they have no country, but there's like international like refugee asylum seeking law, which I think it's something like the first country you get to that accepts refugees. That's where you're supposed to apply for asylum. And
one of my buddies from Marvel Contest, his family came here through asylum, and this has just happened to be the country they were able to go to, and
it just happened to be America.
Yeah, his parents.
That's
their country no longer exists.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think I don't remember the story, so I'm going to butcher it. But I think they had to put a lot of it.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
So, there's a Venezuelan social media dude. Check this out. I don't know if you've seen this. I don't know how good your Spanish is. Invade abandoned houses. A Venezuelan migrant promotes taking advantage of squatters' rights in a viral video. Now I saw it here, but I think it's not in English. Yeah.
Pensado invadir una casa en United States. Ya que me enteré.
Okay, I'm gonna stop his screaming. I found out that there's a law that says that if a house is not inhabited, we can. Oh, come on, Twitter video. Twitter, ever since Elon, you guys have the worst video. It's buffers all the time. You need to. Okay, so basically, you can seize it. In America, if there's an uninhabited house, you can just move in, change the locks, and say it's yours. Okay. And this happened to a lady in New York, and she called the cops, and the squatter was like, "No, I live here." And the cops arrested the owner of the building. So what kind of like situation are we in where you have less rights than you as a citizen have less rights than literally a guy from who knows where?
It's a law that probably needs to be looked at and updated, because squatter rights get in trouble beyond the whole illegal immigrant aspect. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, what are squatters' rights? Why are there squatters' rights? I mean, isn't property? Look, our Constitution is founded on one of several principles. One of those being like you have the right to own things, and if people can just take things from
rights
you,
aren't even federal, right?
I don't know. Yeah.
Well, it could fall back to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Hey, I'm just trying to be happy.
I guess so. Can we do that? We need to start doing that. We just need to. Anytime we're like
just trying to be
get in
happy.
trouble, we'll be like, "I'm pursuing happiness. I'm exercising my free rights."
Unalienable.
Okay. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, I closed the story. I didn't mean to close. Oh, that's okay. It was the end wokeness tweet. So some people are taking this migrant situation into their own hands. I see Deke's back, but he ain't blooped himself in. Do I need to bloop Deke in? I don't know.
You might have to bloop him in.
I don't know. Deke can do things. I don't know. He's fine. He'll show up. He'll let me know if he needs help. Yeah, well, I got you. Okay, so some people are encountering the migrant problem directly, and in some cases it has turned violent. You will, I'm sure, remember the story of the Arizona rancher, the Arizona border rancher, who shot at and killed a migrant, and then they were on his property, and we'll get into the story here. An Arizona rancher is set to go to trial from the fatal shooting of the migrant on his property near Mexico. He's charged with killing a migrant and is set to open. Wow, this is not great. You guys stuck the byline in the middle of the sentence. It's not great. An Arizona rancher on Friday in the fatal shooting of the migrant. His trial. He goes on trial today in the fatal shooting of the migrant on his property in New Mexico. George Allen Kelly, 75, charged with second-degree murder in the killing of a man he encountered on his property outside of Nogales, Arizona. He had earlier rejected a plea deal that would have reduced the charge to one count of negligent homicide if he pleaded guilty. He was arrested and charged last year on January 30th, shooting a 48-year-old Gabriel Gwen Botemia of adjacent Nogales, Mexico, just south of the border. He shot at a group of unarmed migrants who were walking through his 170-acre property in Keno Springs. And prosecutors said that Kelly recklessly fired his AK-47 toward migrants who were about 100 yards away from him. Kelly's lawyer had said that her client shot into the air above the migrants, and he feared for his safety and that of his wife and his property, which is totally reasonable. You have a group of how many guys? How many guys were there? We don't even know. But let's say it's. I mean,
now, are these illegal immigrants? Or are these just immigrants, migrant workers. I mean,
Well, they're not migrant workers. They
the
don't work for
nuances.
him. They were
They don't work for
no.
him, correct?
Well,
But they
they
might work for someone else.
this story is sourced from the Associated Press, and they are they pad the language a little bit to be generous.
Yeah, that's what I'm
so
getting
they
at.
never say
I mean, illegal or legal, it's still a person, and we
Sure.
don't just like wanting death. But there are. I keep going back to this. When I've traveled overseas, I have always been told you are no longer you don't have your rights when you go overseas, and you're stuck to the laws of the land. And
Right.
in some ways, that's what some of the illegal immigrants are doing right now. They're decrying, hey, this is the law of the land, so I want it to apply to me. And there has to be something for citizens that separate. I mean, citizenship has to mean something.
Well, it used to mean something. I think it's increasingly becoming clear that it doesn't mean as much as it used to.
It's a bloodbath.
Well, wantonly murder people, I guess. All right. Let's see. So this guy Alan Kelly, I think his name is, he's going on trial. I mean, at least he gets a trial, but like, should he have ever been charged? If I don't know that he should have been charged for defending your property. Maybe you know better than me, right? Like if you have to exercise force if you have to exercise force in defense of life and property, which you are allowed, I guess in Arizona, you're allowed to defend your life and property, then it makes sense that you would be arrested. But if it's reasonable that you were defending yourself, maybe he shouldn't have been charged. Maybe he should have, I don't know. And maybe he'll beat this murder rap, but he's being charged for second-degree murder, dude, not manslaughter.
Arizona does have castle doctrine, which is your right to protect your property and your land. So
I mean, shooting at people 100 yards away is a long ways away, but okay, that stretches the credulity of that because you're not in immediate danger. But what if there's 10 guys over there, and there's you, and you're 75, and your 80-year-old wife is inside?
Mm-hmm.
What is the distance at which they can approach you where you're actually feel threatened?
And they're not approaching the front door. The way it works, they're coming across a field. On the back, you don't see them coming down a driveway.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know the geographic situation.
Mm-hmm. All that's going to come into play.
I mean,
it has to.
Yeah. I wonder if it'll be televised. No idea. But you can say for sure that he is right now in prison. You can see he's wearing scrubs there, and it looks like he's got is that a bulletproof vest has on?
He's in jail. He's not in prison.
Yeah.
He's in jail.
He's in jail.
The difference is prison is once you're convicted.
Oh, okay.
Jail is more.
You know that, and my daughter knows that, but I don't know that.
There's a difference.
Knows that. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. There is this story here. Sometimes, Biden does practice. I say Biden, I'm talking Biden administration, Biden Border Patrol, etc. They do actually practice catch and release. Do you know that? I don't know if you know that.
I do.
Check this out. The Biden administration releases a Colombian drug lord after a brief apprehension at the border. Yeah.
No comment.
Yeah. Hold on. It gets better.
No comment.
They released another Venezuelan national after briefly detaining him for illegally crossing the border into Texas, even though he was on Interpol's most wanted list for murder, extortion, and drug dealing in Colombia. They apprehended Ederbis Segundo Pereira, a 29-year-old Venezuelan native, after he was illegally crossed in Eagle Pass. 29.
How old? And he was already 29. On what list?
He was on Interpol's list for murder, extortion, and drug dealing.
At 29, dude's
now-
going places, man.
I mean, you can say whatever you want. Bro's got hustle. Biden officials released this dangerous criminal in the U.S., even though he was on Interpol's top 10 list with only
Wait, they released
note-
him where?
They just released him with a notice
Into
to
the
appear
US.
in court. Yeah,
Into the U.S.
he was
And
released
he's
on
on the
January
top 10
5th.
list. This
He's on Interpol's list.
not just their list, their top 10 list.
Yeah, well, I don't know if he's on the top 10.
It
He
says
was
that
on.
right
He was
there.
on it. Does
It
it
says
say
it right
top
there.
10?
Go
Oh
down
my
2
god,
more
top
paragraphs.
10? Bro,
Yeah,
oh
even though he's
my
on the-
god, top 10. Dude, Biden, you are incompetent, dude.
No comment. No comment. No comment. No comment.
Oh my god. He was released on January 5th and allowed to go free until March 12th, and he was only caught because he got arrested again in New Braunfels, Texas, and transferred to ICE. Now, you guys out there, you guys don't know. Let me pull up a map of Texas and show you the difference. Here's come on, zoom. All right, here we go. Let me go down. Sorry, be patient.
I'm patient, man.
No, thanks. Not interested in that. Okay, I think Eagle Pass is over here near Ciudad Juarez. Let's see, Eagle Pass.
I thought it was on the right.
Oh, Eagle Pass is down. Okay, you're right. It's down close to it. It's in the middle. Okay, so Eagle Pass is here, right? New Braunfels is over here near Austin. So dude got from he got released in Eagle Pass down here and got all the way to the middle of Texas, just north of San Antonio. New Braunfels is like 20 minutes from our state capital. So we had an Interpol Colombian or Venezuelan drug lord rolling around in Texas because of the Biden administration.
You think that's the only one running
right.
around in Texas?
No.
All
No.
right. Sorry,
Oh,
don't want
I
to burst your
messed
bubble
up,
there, JJ.
No, listen. We got there's plenty of people here. Maybe I ought not be here. I should have brought this up earlier when I was talking about the squatters' rights. Governor DeSantis is expected to sign a bill protecting landlords from squatters. Hey, Deke's back. Deke, you missed us talking about squatters' rights. Have you ever squatted somebody's house,
man.
Deke?
Yeah, I saw that story and I read it, and Ashley's a realtor, and we have had conversations about that in the past. That's crazy. I still don't understand how that. I still can't grasp how that's legal. You know.
So you can just find a house that nobody's in, and you could just like have it.
The house 2 doors down from me has an amazing garage. They got solar
Yeah.
panels. It's really fancy, and it's been unoccupied for over a year and a half now.
I did not know
Dude,
that we had
go
a
squat there.
finders keepers rule for houses.
Dude, a mile as the crow flies is a $4.5 million mansion that has been on the market for like 5 years. It is enormous. It's got a basketball court. It's yeah. I mean, hell, it's been empty for like 4 years. The lady that owns it lives in Brentwood. That's where all the country music stars live in Nashville. For JJ, he didn't know.
Okay. Yeah,
That's where all the country music stars live in Nashville. It's just south of Nashville. They don't live in Nashville. They live in Brentwood.
Maybe she should donate it to your radio station. You could relocate your operations and work out of an old unused property.
Yeah.
You are a genius, sir. That's why I love you.
She could get a tax write-off for a donation, and you could not work next to a choo-choo train.
That would be great. I could play basketball.
Yeah.
All right. So on this finders keepers of houses thing, Governor DeSantis is expected to sign a bill protecting landlords from squatters. In Florida, the state says that they are leading the nation in this quest to approach squatters legally. I don't know what that means. Let's see.
Hey,
Adele
I'm being told
and
we're not
Harry-
on Rumble.
Oh, we not? Why are we not on Rumble?
I got Rumble running in the background. It's working.
I guess we are on Rumble.
Oh, okay.
I got it
Okay.
running live in the
You know,
background.
Probably the way that what you guys got to do first is go to rumble.com/JGW. Make sure you subscribe and leave a comment
do.
on every single video. Pump that fake engagement. So this is the story I was telling you about, where that woman inherited a multi-million-dollar home after her parents passed away, and was in the process of selling it when she noticed that someone had changed the locks, and then she called the police. And oh, sorry, Deke, you got a werewolf in front of your face. Let me just
By his ear.
No,
this.
dude, leave him. That was cool. I like being a werewolf for a minute.
Oh, all right.
I'm gonna
Okay.
talk like this.
Look, everybody, I think we all just agree that, like, should squatters have any rights?
No.
What rights? Yeah, none. So, like, how is this? How do we even have this problem? It doesn't make sense.
That's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm getting at. Me and Ashley's talked about this before, and it doesn't make sense to me.
Right.
How do they have the right to do that?
We have such
And
stupid people in charge of everything.
How are they backing them up in the courts is what I don't understand. What's the freaking law? And that
Well,
law needs to be changed,
It
obviously.
All right.
We've got a lot
let's
of
see.
laws that
You
have been
guys,
changed
we
over
haven't
the
talked
years.
about. Yeah.
I think I'm on a
more
delay.
law.
I'm
We need
sorry.
some better. That's okay. We haven't talked about Fanny too much this week. You know, last week she had to fire her boyfriend from her prosecution team. That was a real bummer for her, I bet. That's inaccurate. There was an order, and she either had to step down or he had to leave, and he resigned. Okay. Well, anyway, Georgia DA Fannie Willis plans to press ahead in the effort to put Trump on trial before election. So even if she can't work with her boyfriend on this case, she's still going after Trump. Let's see. We'll pull up here from the Washington Examiner. I know you guys are super excited about hearing about her big old Fanny. She's reportedly still hoping to start his trial before Election Day, even as she faces the possibility of being disqualified from the case. Now, Donald Trump, his legal team, after the judge ruled that Fannie Willis cannot continue and have Nathan Wade on the legal team, and then Nathan, because of the aroma of basically lies, it's incredible. The judge wrote the order and basically said, you're not disqualified and the case is not dismissed, but you can't keep this dude on here. The Trump legal team took the judge's order and his statement, and they filed a new petition to dismiss and disqualify, including the judge's statement as part of the dismissal request. That is, you said she lied. You can't have her be the DA. So so Trump team is continuing to try to disqualify and dismiss the case, and Fannie Willis is still gross. There's also some stuff about Letitia James, which is the New York case, but I didn't dig into that enough for the show. But it looks like Miss Letitia James got some corruption too.
There was some stuff that I saw about CNN saying, having their talking heads talking about how he should sell Mar-a-Lago for $204 million or something like that, when they, months earlier judge said it's only worth $18 million. They were like, there was some
Right.
back speak that I saw. I didn't delve into it, but I saw it pop up on several spots.
So the Mar-a-Lago prop. So, okay, the way that this whole New York case goes with Ingaron or whatever his name is, there was no trial, and Trump was convicted. Received a summary judgment that he was guilty of fraud. The judge, there was no trial. The judge just said, "Sounds like fraud. You're guilty of fraud. Now, how much money do you owe?" And then the banks testified in the punishment trial. So there's a trial just to see how much money was owed. And the bank said there was no crime. This is how business normally does. You say your property is worth however much, and the bank independently sees how much, says how much they think it's worth, and then there's an agreement, and then a loan is conducted. And the bank said there was no crime. This is business as normal. And not only that, we didn't get injured. We got all of our money back from Trump. So there was no fraud, and there was no crime, and there's no harm. And the judge is like,
didn't that company say
so
something?
How much are we going to charge this
didn't
guy?
that company say something to the effect that they would do business with him again or something?
Yes. Yeah. They were like, he's a good customer. He brings us money.
Yeah.
So Donald Trump, having committed no crime, convicted improperly of and no crime, is having $454 million levied against him in fines for a not crime that no one was injured in, and the participating parties were satisfied with the deal. But that doesn't matter because it's entirely about harming Trump. Nobody in the history of the United States has ever received a $450 million fine. It is an enormous figure. It is unreasonable. And so Donald Trump's appealing that on the grounds of it being a violation of the 8th Amendment, which says that you cannot have cruel and unusual punishments, which is certainly unusual, and excessive fines. Did you know that the Constitution says that you cannot be fined excessively? Did you guys know that?
That sounds familiar. I was looking up something.
Okay. So let's see. So anyway,
how many Trump
Letitia
voters do you think there are? Do you think there's 23 million Trump people in this country?
23 million. What do you mean Trump people? You mean people that will vote for him?
Let me do this. Do you think there's 23 million people that would donate $20 to Trump?
That's a lot of people to donate $20. I mean, I'm not donating $20, and I like Trump.
Okay. Well, that's okay. That's this was just a
fundraiser. You're talking about crowdfunding his. Here's the thing: he shouldn't have to pay.
You're right. You're right.
If it's a violation of the Constitution, he should not have to pay.
I was just sitting there thinking that, and I wanted to know the numbers.
Well, I don't know. There's 81 million people that'll vote for him.
That's $5.
If you go like 80-20 rule,
that's $5 a piece.
Well, let's circle back on the value of property because this brings up a point.
Yeah.
So let's say my house, because I live in Kentucky, it's a lot cheaper to buy a house here. I bought it for $72,000, and that's what it's worth, right? Now let's say somebody
who decides how much it's worth.
Right. That's a common market value, or what current market value is what it is. Let's say somebody like Bono owns it, right, from U2.
Yeah.
How much is it worth now?
The house that Bono pooped in?
Yes, exactly.
More than $72,000.
It'd probably be worth more than that. Let's say he wrote a song there, or let's say he did this there. I'm not like a huge YouTube fan. I don't know why he popped in my head. I mean, I like YouTube, but yeah, I'm not like. All right. So at any rate,
they had a bunch of jams, dude.
Yeah.
Deacon, don't be you're being snobby.
Decates.
This is a guy that would go to 47 Fish concerts in a row.
Well, let's say John Mayer owns the house.
That sounds like heaven, man.
Now, how much is the house worth?
You're right.
The value goes up depending on who owns it. If it's a celebrity or somebody important, so Mar-a-Lago might be worth $2 million or $4 million or whatever it is. But the fact that you have somebody like Trump,
it's worth hundreds of $1 million.
Yeah.
It's not just that. You know, Mar-a-Lago is this property in Florida. It's the only property that touches the Atlantic Ocean on one side, and on the other side it touches like a different body of water. It has two coastlines. It's big. It's like 170 acres or something like that. It's a lot. It's a lot bigger than any of the surrounding properties. But the value of the property in Florida was decided by this judge in New York who doesn't know anything about how property is valued.
At least not in Florida.
He just decided, oh, it's worth.
But what
Yeah.
I'm simply saying though is
Mrs.
that
JJ.
because Trump owns it, its value is going to go up. Even if Biden owned it,
for sure.
Even if Biden owned it, the value would go up. Believe it or not, because you're going to have individuals.
Of course it would. You have no idea how much coke is inside that building if the Biden family owns it.
Not what I'm getting at. But
Okay.
just when you have somebody of importance.
The Eighth Amendment of the Constitution says this, sir. It's not very long. Excessive bail shall not be required, nor excessive fines imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishments inflicted. I don't know what qualifies as an excessive fine, but $450 million? That sounds excessive, especially when no parties are injured and no actual crime took place.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane. It's insane. So this is entirely a political hit job, and everybody knows it. There's nobody out there that thinks that Trump actually did anything wrong.
I'm going to stick
it's
to my
all
no
a lie.
You
it's
know,
fake.
I'm going to stick to my no comment.
All right. Let's see. We're running out of time. We're going to hit some more stories real quick. Deke, this would be super important to you, sir. Planet Fitness. Maybe also very important to you, Dave. I don't know. Planet Fitness's value has dropped $400 million after defending a transgender policy. An Alaska woman lost her membership after posting posting a photo of a biological male in the women's locker room, and so I think they kicked her out. And now Planet Fitness is dealing with the social recoil of losing $400 million in memberships and value. Who's right? Who's wrong? Was the guy pretending to be a girl in the women's restroom right? Or was the woman taking a photo of a man in the women's restroom right? Who's right?
What do you think?
Nobody.
What do you think?
I think I don't want dudes in my kids. I don't think I want dudes in my kids' restroom.
Exactly.
That's what I think.
The woman did nothing wrong. So
Planet Fitness is getting the Bud Light treatment, I guess.
Good for them.
We were at a tennis match for my middle kid yesterday in Ohio County. And we ran over to the restroom at Dairy Queen, and Julie goes in the ladies' restroom. Guys' restroom is occupied. It has been occupied for a long time. Julie comes out, and that person's still not coming out. So I just go lean heavy on the door. So it sounds like somebody needs to get in there and maybe hurrying the person along, getting them off their phone, because I'm sure that's all
right.
they're doing. And I know the guy has just destroyed the bathroom. And out comes a female employee out of it. The whole time, Julie's like, just go in the ladies' bathroom. Just go in the ladies' bathroom. Just go in the ladies' bathroom.
I'm out. Why are regular women not insisting that dudes don't go in there? You know what I mean?
Well, Lily told me to go in the ladies' restroom because it's a one stall and you can lock it. And then a woman comes out of the men's bathroom. I was just like, come on. I refuse to go in the women's bathroom. It just, it's sacred. But what do I know?
Have you ever been in a public women's bathroom? It's like a different world.
They used to have couches.
They got
and
couches and flowers and perfume and shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird. Like men's restrooms are completely like the total opposite.
It's because we just go in there and do our business and get out.
You know,
I got two more.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say.
Go ahead. Dean.
I was going to give you some bathroom knowledge. I always heard that the first urinal is the cleanest urinal because most people skip the first one.
Yes. It's rules.
That's
why? That doesn't make sense.
I don't know, but I've always heard that most people skip the first one, and so the first one's always the cleanest one. I don't know.
Oh, well, you probably don't want to be crammed up against the wall. That's why.
Guys,
And there's
don't
also the
stand next to each other.
the
Alternate.
Yeah.
yeah, there's the unwritten every other rule. So like if you go in and somebody's peeing, you go at least one extra stall
Yes.
over. So you're gonna have the every other.
So yeah, and
but
it,
prefer
if you
go to
walk,
a movie theater where there's like 7, one guy's at one end, you go to the
yeah,
other end.
and if you walk in and there's 3, you've got, if there's a line or something and there's 3 stalls and the one in the middle's open and you kind of like, I don't want to go there, but I've got to go there.
Then you just stare at the wall the entire
Yeah.
time. I mean, you're like locked into it. These are the rules.
Yeah.
That's
You're gonna examine grout. Okay.
Is that
All
a
right, we got 2 more real quick. A Biden nominee to the 7th Circuit is being what do you call it? Interrogated by the Senate, confirmed by the Senate. And she seems to be in favor of banning assault weapons. But when asked by Senator Kennedy, she cannot actually define what an assault weapon is. Now, I'm going to save us all a bunch of time, and I'll show her face for a second.
Assault weapons may
I love
be
this guy.
banned
Senator
because
Kennedy
they're
is just the
extraordinarily
best.
dangerous and are not appropriate for legitimate self-defense purposes, close quote. Tell me what you meant by assault weapons.
Thank you, Senator
This guy.
Kennedy. Just to clarify there, I was local counsel. Our Supreme
But you wrote the brief. Tell me what you meant by assault weapons.
Senator Kennedy, actually, I did not write the brief. The brief was written by.
You signed the brief, though, didn't you?
Correct. I signed the
You
brief.
sign a brief, you're testifying to the court that everything in it is true, right?
Yes.
Oh, can't slip past this guy.
So they're your words in terms of the court, right?
Well, you're correct, Senator Kennedy. I would never
Tell me
sign.
what you meant by assault weapons.
So I am not a gun expert, and at the time that.
Okay. All right. It's going to go on like that for a minute where she just tries not to answer. But Senator Kennedy from Louisiana is perhaps my number 2 favorite senator. Rand Paul, obviously. Rand Paul on principle makes good choices, is the guy. This guy roasts everybody that comes before him. And he does so in a way that you don't realize that you're being cooked.
You know, there's that.
You think he's just being polite.
There's that Democrat in California. I think she's from California. She's out west. Katie something. Isn't her name Katie something? She's that dark-haired lady that just gets on everybody's ass.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Who's
can't
the lady
remember her
with the whiteboard?
That's her.
Okay, yeah.
That's her. That's her. She's pretty awesome, and I think she's
Yeah,
a Democrat. Yeah,
Oh,
she
really?
gets on their asses, man.
you got-
She gets on their asses.
It's amazing. I mean, no comment.
Do Good says, how about both were wrong? When I asked whether about the men being in the women's restroom or the woman taking a picture of a man in a woman's restroom.
That's a good
he
point.
said both
That's a
were
very
wrong.
good point.
I don't know.
But
Okay, here's the last story that I got here. Oh, go
I was
ahead.
going to say, but
Go ahead.
you know, she's defending. If she's, I don't know. That's a hard one. She's defending her freaking.
Well, this
I wouldn't want. I'm not a woman, so I don't have to. I don't get to experience the
Right.
crap that they do. You know, we don't. So I try
Right.
to. But I have daughters. I have 3 daughters, and Ashley. You know, I don't. When I try to, I don't want them doing that. If they were in there and some dude, if one of my daughters was in there and some dude was in there doing that, and my daughter took a picture, she didn't do anything wrong.
right? You have no. If you're in I think your expectation of privacy is waived. If you're in a bathroom and you ain't supposed to be in. I mean, it is a public restroom,
It's
so-
a bathroom you're not supposed to be in.
All right. Last story here, guys. It's March, and it's election season.
March Madness,
And I'm going to
baby.
remind everybody, especially if you have student debt, the Democrats are trying like hell to trick your dumbass. So here it comes again. Joe Biden cancels. Let's put that in air quotes. Joe Biden cancels $6 billion in student debt for 78,000 public service workers. This is crazy. You know, when Donald Trump was president and he wanted to build the wall to stop the migrant influx and disaster, illegal immigrant disaster, he only asked for $6 billion and Nancy Pelosi wouldn't give it to him. Right? Only $6 billion.
Could be wrong, but I think public service student loan debt forgiveness started before Biden was in office.
Sure, for states have these programs.
That is
forgiving your entire debt.
That's $77,000 per person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now,
yeah.
I mean, my undergrad, as this was back in 96 to 2000, 2001, I racked up over $80,000 in student loan debt. And I had scholarships on top of that.
Right.
I had to go to a Christian, it wasn't a private college, but it was a specialized college and it was fully accredited and everything. And then I go into a line of work where most ministers don't make anything near that. Like we're talking, hey, $35,000. Yeah, I'm rolling.
Yeah.
And it takes, it takes a
forever to pay your debt off.
Yes.
So yeah, there's a lot of public service programs, but a lot of times these are state programs where the state, for instance, Texas, I think has a private program like this, where if you graduate and you have debt or whatever, and you want to mitigate some of your debt or perhaps all of it, then you can go work for the state at a public school, usually in a poor and underperforming area where you essentially are taking this college graduate fresh out of, a new worker, you put them into an environment where they normally wouldn't work to deliver a better education experience for students. And that benefits the public and the state. And for that exchange, the state pays off some of your debt, some or all of your debt. This is Joe Biden just canceling debt.
You have to have so many years.
There's one reason why he's doing this.
You have to have so many years of payments, though. I'm fairly
right. Usually you have to have
10 to 15 years of payments before it can be forgiven.
So this is Joe Biden defying the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has already ruled you can't do this. You do not have the authority to cancel debt. He's just going to keep doing it because you know why? He don't care. He's like, nobody will do anything. Republicans will not impeach. Nobody will do anything. He can just keep it up, and he only has to trick you until November 4th. And then after that, doesn't matter. Oh, couldn't do it. Sorry. Can't cancel your debt. You still owe $80,000. Yeah. And this isn't from the day of my administration. I promised to fix broken student loan programs and make sure there's nothing about this that fixes anything. There is still every university still is a funnel for enormous amounts of debt. None of this fixes anything. He's just promising to give you some money so that you'll vote Democrat because you're a dumbass. That's it.
Comment.
And the check won't cash. The check will not cash. He'll get your vote and you ain't getting nothing. All right. That's it, guys. That's all the news stories. I'm sorry. It's a rough morning. I didn't prep enough in advance for today's show to get them in order and stuff. Joke time. Yeah, it's joke time. At the end of the show, right after you guys push the like button, it's kind of like a vending machine. You push the like button and then you get a joke. It's going to be great. What are two? Oh, I did that one yesterday. How about this? How many apples grow on trees?
All of them.
All of them.
That's... Oh, you know what? I got one that I stole from my kid's book. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Who's there?
I got up.
I got up who?
Okay.
Yep.
All right, guys, you got
I
one.
do.
Hang on,
I
I'm
do.
trying to.
Deeks looking through his screenshots. His phone's frozen.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm trying to find one because my computer's still broken.
All right,
So,
Dave.
as
I
a
got
minister-
one. I got one.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Okay, all right, go ahead. One of you.
Which one, me or him? I'm sorry, I'm on a delay.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. You're on a delay. Talk.
Go ahead.
What did the exasperated, cross-eyed teacher say?
I don't know. What is she
I'm
saying?
tired of you can't see things my way.
I can't control my pupils.
Okay. High bar there, Dave.
All right,
Go
so
ahead.
I've done a lot of weddings, and recently I was asked to do a wedding for some spiders. As
Interesting.
Yeah. You know what we called them after they got married?
Newlyweds?
Newlywebs.
Oh, newlyweds.
Oh, all right. Yeah, it's good. All right, guys. I know it's a rough show, in the best one ever, but it's still the beginning of the best day ever. You guys have a great weekend. We'll be back Monday morning, 8 o'clock. Don't miss us.
Go Tops.
We love you. Talk to your mom.
Yeah.
Talking heads lying left and right. You can help us bring
Damn it,
facts
Restream.
into
My
the
verse.
light. Don't let your daughter lose her next swim meet to a psychopath dude with fake teats. Tune in now to your Tune That Show. JJ and Deacon, they're the ones that know. Subscribe quick, the squid monster's on the way. Conspire with us, tomorrow's news today.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
you guys know fake